Hello out there in Cyberland. I hope everybody is having a wonderful Wednesday. I know I am. I got to work today, so I earned a little money, and my assistant's life is going a little bit better. She has a lot of drama that it's not my business to discuss, but let's just say that she has a difficult life. Anyway, this morning I found on my Facebook page a report from a Chad Pratt, I believe is his name, who is a country comedian, about something I thought was a joke, but unfortunately it was not. Apparently, there is now offense at a cotton display. Apparently, one day last week, I believe it was Thursday, a young lady by the name of Danielle Ryder, who lives somewhere in Texas, went to a Hobby Lobby and saw a display that used a cotton bowl and a cotton stalk, and found it quite offensive, and tweeted or whatever on her social media, I think it was Twitter, that she found this incredibly offensive and demanded that it be taken down immediately, that a little sensitivity would go a long way. Well, Danielle and those who agree with her, a little common sense will go a much longer way. Anyway, as I was listening to this in utter disbelief, I'm thinking, you find a cotton bowl offensive. You say it reminds you of slavery. Well, wake up, people. Slavery officially has been out for many, many years. But there's a certain group of people to which Danielle belongs, that every time they hear something on the news that they might want to consider inflammatory, whether it's true or not, they don't bother checking it out. They just jump on it and run with it. And they make themselves slaves to the liberal media because they cut up and care and act like fools, like Danielle did. Anyway, I want to make a point to you about offensive and not offensive. Okay, let's see. Now, apparently, Danielle finds this offensive. Here's a photo of the cotton display in question that she tweeted and said was offensive. It's cotton, people. The fabric of your life. And it's not just a slogan. While they find this offensive, they don't find this offensive. As you can see, it's a rather large black man pumping gas with his pants hanging down. Okay, anybody, if you find the first one offensive, but you don't find the second one offensive, you are part of the problem. While I know that there are variations of taste and preference, I'm sorry, but seeing people, I don't care what color they are, how big or little they are, with their junk hanging out in a public place, that's not attractive. That is offensive. And in my day, I don't care who you were, you would have been arrested for indecent exposure. But for some reason now it's okay for black men, fat, skinny, in between, to go around with their junk literally hanging out. Well, I want you to think about something, people. Cotton. Whilst at the time when the slavery was a thing in this country and worldwide, cotton was a big product and still is, not as big as it was, thanks to Egyptian cotton, which is apparently is a more preferable product than American cotton, was a very big money-making product in this country. And yes, slaves did pick cotton. Also, the Irish picked cotton, which are some of my ancestors who came over here after some of the great potato famines because these people could not feed their families. And they became slaves also and lived in the slave quarters with the slaves. And they picked cotton alongside of the slaves, for which they got a small pittance, which they may have been a little bit better off than the black slaves, but not by much. And life was hard for all of them. But people who can afford to go to Hobby Lobby and buy junk for their house, and they can afford to have cell phones, which they can take pictures of said junk, they don't have a hard life. They have a very blessed and easy life. If you want to see people with a hard life, I tell you what, go out west to the United States, in Colorado, Wyoming, Nebraska, and visit some of these Native American reservations. And you will see people with a hard life. And I am also not only part Irish, but part Cherokee. So my ancestors, while the Irish ones were picking cotton with your ancestors, my Native American ones were being marched down Stage Road with guns to their back to be put on a reservation because their land was stolen by the government. Thank you very much. So anyway, I'm hearing about all this white privilege that goes with this. I don't even want to get started on that because there is no such thing as white privilege. If I commit a crime, I'm going to jail. Nobody gives me anything because I'm white. I guarantee you, I have to work hard for my money. I run a cleaning business. I do deep cleaning. That means I move your furniture. I scrub your blinds. I scour your shower. I take out your nasty garbage. I scrub your filthy toilet. I go under your bed and clean the gunk out from under your bed. Okay? I work hard for my money. Nobody gives it to me. And if I commit a crime, I will suffer the consequences. Just a few months ago, I accidentally got over the speed limit, and guess what? I got a ticket for $50. I had to pay that $50, and my white skin did not get me out of that ticket. I still had to pay it. So thank you very much. There is no such thing as white privilege. But back to this subject originally. If you can afford all these things, you are not disadvantaged. You are not oppressed. You are not underprivileged. You are very privileged and very blessed. And you are also an idiot. Anyway, just think about it. It's not only a matter of taste and preference, but it's just a matter of economics. Cotton represents money. You know how? Because it's not just a slogan, cotton, the fabric of your life. Cotton isn't everything that we touch. Everything touches us. These curtains back here. Cotton. This shirt I'm wearing, cotton. Your mattress, stuffed with what? Cotton. Your pillows, stuffed with cotton. Your sheets, cotton. Your towels, cotton. Your money, 50% of it is cotton. That's why it doesn't disintegrate if it goes to the wash, like most other paper. Excuse me, sorry about that. Hazard of cleaning people's homes is I get all their dust and all their gunk in my lungs, and sometimes it has to come up. That's another part of my white privilege. Thank you very much. Walking around with your pants down and your junk hanging out doesn't represent money. It represents, first of all, utter stupidity. Second of all, it represents joblessness. You know why? Nobody's going to give that guy a job. If he walks into a job interview dressed like that, nobody's going to hire him. First of all, he's stupid. Second of all, he's indecently dressed. I mean, that's called indecent exposure. And it's against the law on the books in every state in the union. But for some reason, some people think they ought to walk around like that. He goes to a restaurant to fill out a job application. Nobody's going to eat that restaurant. He goes to a retail store to fill out a job application. Nobody's going to come back there to shop. He goes to a law office to try to get a job. Let's say if he's got a law degree, he already knows the law. Hopefully he would pull his pants up. Actually, black men, women, children who have a law degree, they're not going to dress like that because they got better sense. They had enough sense to get themselves an education and do something productive with their life. This guy, he comes straight out of the hood, did nothing with him in his life, and now he's blaming Trump and white privilege because he can't get a job. I've seen it, okay? Remember, folks, cotton represents money, represents a job, represents a livelihood. Your junk hanging out represents joblessness, represents homelessness, represents crime. Think about it, people. Use your brain. And as far as Miss Ryder goes, Miss Ryder, if you catch this, you're an idiot. Grow up, get out of the 1960s, get within reality. You are not oppressed, you are not a slave. And by the way, no human being has picked cotton with their hands in at least 50 years. Because in the late 60s, early 70s, this wonderful contraption came out called a combine. You know what it did? It was a large machine that the farmer drove through the cotton fields. It pulled the cotton up by the stalks and then had another little mechanism that pulls a cotton ball out, chops the stalk up, and tosses it back out on the ground to refertilize the ground. That took jobs away from people because picking cotton in the 1960s paid 5 cents a pound. It doesn't take long to pick several hundred pounds of cotton. Though it was hard, back-breaking work. But hopefully those people found some other way of supporting themselves because with the invention of the combine, they went their job. They went their livelihood. But hopefully they did something better with their life. Who knows? That was a long time ago, 50, 60 years ago. Most of us were not even born yet. I was a small child. And I do want you to know, my parents picked a lot of cotton, and they were white. They were poor country people from Mississippi, and they, by God, picked a lot of cotton to try to make ends meet. So you keep that in mind, folks. Cotton means money. Your junk hanging out means no money. Have a nice day.